if you were starting a program today and you had to start with one of these California coaches, who are you choosing? Taj Lupoy, Tavita Pritchard, Lincoln Riley, or Bob Chesney?
So to me, this is an easy answer, but I want to clarify first. Am I buying stock in the coach or the coach at that school?
You're starting like a fresh program. So like you're getting them like right now, but to coach your program like from the start.
Okay, see, that kind of changes things for me then.
Okay.
I think right now I would go Bob Chesney.
Really?
He is a little more proven, um, a little more experience. If I'm starting a program from scratch, I feel like you kind of need that. And while Lincoln Riley, I feel, would be a good option because, again, proven recruiter and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You also, whether you want to admit it or not, there's a ceiling with Lincoln Riley. If he didn't win that year, Baker Mayfield took Georgia to the limit. Lincoln Riley's never going to win a national championship. I'm sorry, but it's true.
Bold.
I don't think that's bold.
I think it's bold.
I don't think that's bold at all. Lincoln Riley is never going to win a national championship.
Okay.
Sorry. And he's certainly not going to do it at USC. Maybe if he gets the Lane Kiffin payday somewhere else, if he wants to try his luck at SEC ball, maybe. But he's not going to win a national championship at USC. But not to take the shine off what we're talking about, I would go Bob Chesney. However, if we're talking school specific, I think you were the one that I was blowing up your phone when Stanford announced that they had signed Tavita Pritchard.
Mm-hmm.
He was an excellent quarterback. He's a good recruiter. He has NFL coaching experience. I think that is an absolute slam dunk for a guy who also knows the West Coast. That, to me, I just buried Stanford last year at the beginning of the year.
Oh, yeah. Buried.
And they were better than I thought they would be, which I thought they were going to go 0-12, so it really wasn't that hard to accomplish. But I think Stanford right now is in a significantly better place than they were a year ago. And of course, that's not saying much because of the situation they were in a year ago. But I think Pritchard is the guy at the job. But if I'm starting from scratch, it's got to be Chesney.
All right. We have differing answers here. Very interesting. I think you're onto something. I think Riley does have a ceiling. However, if we're a program that's just starting, I think we take Lincoln Riley to get to that ceiling.
It's hard to disagree with that thought process.
I think if you get to a playoff loss or something like that as a program that started, you're pretty happy. And I've seen Lincoln get there before. I know we'll probably have a Heisman winner at some point. And if we're talking about program specific, I think I'd have to go Chesney or Lupoy. They're killing it so far. They haven't coached a game yet, so it's hard to really say. But I'm really excited for what these two have been doing with their programs.
That's my issue with Lupoy. I think he's going to be a good coach. I think they're going to be a solid team on defense. My number one concern with him, and again, this is team specific, is I feel like they just hired a younger Justin Wilcox. Like, I feel like he's going to bring a lot of the same stuff to the program, and not to say that's bad, but he's going to bring a solid defense, maybe not great, but they're going to be solid, dependable. Mm-hmm. But what is he going to do on offense? Where does that lie? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see this year because they have one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And for those people who are in the know, we get to see these two go up against each other in week 1. Cal versus UCLA. That game will be electric.
Man, that should be a Pac-12 game. That should be 10:30 on ESPN2.
I'm saying people who aren't in the know aren't going to watch that game. That is going to be an electric football game for these two programs.
Yeah, and I feel like that there's enough of a good storyline there to follow just because it is former Pac-12 rivals going at it. But again, the debut of two new coaches, one who would start off his career with a bang, with a win in his first ever game against a team like UCLA, who wasn't great last year, but Bob Chesney took his team last year to the college football playoff. And then for Chesney to show UCLA fans, hey, I was the right guy for this job. Because if UCLA loses to Cal week 1, that's going to put a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. And no matter how it goes, the response of UCLA fans, if they lose, is going to be, see, we should have kept Neuheisel. Jerry Neuheisel, that is.
Yeah, I can't believe him and Chip Kelly are together right now. That's at Northwestern of all places.
That is just wild to me.
Yeah, I don't want to get too much sidetracked here, but I think for me it'd be between Lincoln and Chesney. You said you'd be between Pritchard and Chesney.
Where do you fall on Pritchard as a coach, just in general? Where do you like his
I
fit with
think
Stanford? How do you think he's going to do? Where are you with that?
I'm going to use James Franklin's favorite word here. Alignment between these two is what's going to be. Because, yes, Pritchard will be running it on game day, but him and Andrew Luck are very close together. I think the program having aligned goals will do a lot of well for Stanford.
I agree. And again, having a guy like Andrew Luck there is a really good representative of Stanford. A recent graduate, shows what it can be, knows what it takes to win at Stanford, because Stanford is a really, really tough place to win. They have such high academic standards.
Hmm.
Like it takes a special athlete slash person to end up there. And Pritchard, having, of course, been quarterback at Stanford, knows it. He's been a coach there for a few years, but having that NFL coaching experience as well, I think, is going to play a good part into it.
Yeah, he was in, I thought he was Washington, I think, right? Maybe Washington? I think it was the Commanders.
Yeah, because he was with Jalen Daniels.
Yeah, so he can clearly coach quarterbacks. And, year one, again, one thing I want to say before, not to go back to these two again, but they both have decent, good. Well, I think Lupoy has a top five quarterback in the country as his quarterback, and Chesney has a pretty solid quarterback in Nico Malava.
He has a quarterback that can be, being Chesney. He has a quarterback that can be solid. However, he also showed flashes of just god awful quarterback play. I think, even the most hardcore UCLA fan has to admit, Iamaleava regressed significantly from his time at UCLA, or from his time at Tennessee to his time at UCLA. And I don't know if it was the talent level at UCLA that was so much, or what the issue was first year in the new system, whatever you want to blame. But Iamaleava did not meet expectations last year at all.
Hmm. I mean, I'll tell you, the one game I watched of UCLA in full was that Penn State game, and he looked pretty dang good. So maybe that was an outlier, but if they can get that out of him every game, he could be a problem.
Yeah, but look at the state of Penn State.
Yeah,
Like
they're kind of in
especially
the mud.
especially at that point. Like that game was just a disaster for them. The season was a disaster for them. A top 5 team that ended up firing their coach because they did so poorly.
Hmm.
Like it's yeah, it was a great game by Iam Aliava. But against a team like that, it's hard to get too excited because, let's be honest, Penn State was an average team last year. Maybe
Yeah, they
even
were.
below average, right?
Yeah.
That's the kind of team a quarterback like Iam Aliava, who has all the talent in the world. There's no denying that. Whether you hate him from his time at Tennessee, whether you're indifferent on him, he's got the talent, he's got the ability. That's the kind of team he should be lighting up. That's why I don't put a ton of stock into that game, because that's what he should look like.